Hey everyone, Kyle once again. Welcome back to another movie review. And well, this is the second time I'm doing this review because I was doing this review, but then it cut up last night and it cut off on me, so I had to redo it again. So this will be the second time doing it. Hopefully it doesn't mess up. But anyway, getting to this film. Now, this film, I enjoy this film, and it's another remake. Which I know how I am about remakes, because most of the nowadays remakes are not trying, especially in horror films, they don't try to be scary or creepy or anymore. It's just typical generic cash grabbing stuff to make money with, though. But there are remakes that I've enjoyed. House of Wax. Well, that's actually, I didn't mean to say that this is the film I'm reviewing though. But what I meant to say, the other remakes that I enjoyed was Hills of Eyes. Dawn of the Dead. Never minded the 2009 remake of Friday the 13th. The Crazies from 2010, I didn't mind at all. Even Piranha from 2010, which I didn't mind. Even though my other review was kind of more kinder on it though, but I did not hate the film, but I thought it was a pretty decent remake. So there are certain remakes that, even the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake that I also enjoyed as well. That one I had hardly no problems with at all. So there are remakes that I do enjoy though. But Rob Zombie's Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street remake, the Evil Dead remake. I do not like those films at all. But this film, House of Wax, which actually I said the first one, I enjoy this film, and I think it's an underrated remake, also an underrated slasher film. Now this film, it's a remake of the 1950s film with Vincent Price, which really enough, that was also an early remake from the 1930s film, which I forget the title though, but it was similar to that film. So, this came out, the remake, which came out in 2005, and for this film, they came out in 2005 on May 6th, which really enough, Friday, May 6th is the next year. Captain America: Civil War comes out May 6th, really enough. Funny how that goes, but. And it's also been 10 years since this film came out, because this came out in 2005 or in 2015, and it's already been 10 years since this film came out. It's directed by Jaume Collet-Serra, who I think is a pretty decent director. He directed, there are 3 films that he directed with Liam Neeson. One was called Unknown, which I have to check out again. I think I didn't remember Jack Carey for that one. But one of them I enjoyed with him was Nonstop last year in 2014. I enjoyed that film a lot. Then another film that came out this year called Run All Night. Which I have to look into again. And for those wondering what I'm doing over here, I have a guest here with me. Just really quick. Yeah. Just to say hi really quick, because she was sleeping. Yeah. So, yeah, I just want to show it really quick. If you're wondering why the camera was moving a couple times, that she was moving on there. So, but anyway, House of Wax. So the director seems a capable director. Orphan also. I liked. That was also an interesting film. And I enjoy this film. And it's also produced by Robert Zemeckis, who's around this time he's producing horror films like 13 Ghosts, Ghost Ship. Another remake which I also enjoyed was House on Haunted Hill in 1999. Then we're going to produce on this film. So, and yeah, it's funny that Robert Zemeckis would produce some on horror films. The director of Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Forrest Gump. And I like the score by John Ottman. especially the piece of the score by the end of the film. And you have a pretty capable cast. Elisha, Cuthbert, Chad Michael Murray. First of Elisha Cuthbert she was in the show 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. Chad Michael Murray, he's been in the films. One of them I remember was in Cinderella Story, which I think has starred Hilary Duff. Brian Van Holt who plays both the killers. Jared Padalecki from the star in the 2009 Friday the 13th film. That I liked him in that film. And of course, also stars Paris Hilton, which I'm not that big of a fan of her though, but I can deal with her in this film. And of course, if other people who've seen the film, they would find it pretty funny that she dies in the film. So I have a pretty decent cast, which is a good point. And the effects, which I'll get into, I thought they were well done. Just give me 1 second, alright? Come on. I can see what she wants down right now. So let me take her down really quick. Yeah. Sorry about that. I can tell when she gives me that look, she wants down. She wants to go back downstairs. So, but that was really quick though. But now you saw. I think that was the second time I showed my dog. I think it was. But moving on. The story is, the story is that you have these group of people, friends, teenagers, whatever. They're on the way to this big football game, and Elisha Cuthbert and Chad Michael Murray, their brother and sister. Chad Michael Murray's brought his friend along, and Elisha Cuthbert, she probably has a couple of friends as well. One of them is Paris Hilton, and they're on the way to this football game. They turn off a road to camp. And there's a scene because with Chad Michael Murray's that at first he kind of acts kind of a bit of a jerk though, but for what reason is because towards his sisters because he got in trouble from before. I think because they said that he stole a car and he got in trouble, which really enough. He really didn't do it because it was another person that was with him and he took the heat for him, so he got in trouble for that guy. So, and overall the film shows that he cares about his sister, and he's a very good guy as well. He was just a good guy that he just got in trouble for the wrong reason. But I like Chad Michael Murray in the film, and it shows later on that he cares about his sister. And I like the line where he tells her it's like this: "You're the good twin, I'm the evil one." I thought that was kind of funny. And then then this wind. They smell this foul odor that's coming from somewhere in the woods. And then this guy then there's this mysterious guy in this pickup truck shines his headlights at them. They're saying, "Hey man, turn your lights off. Can we help you with anything?" And the guy's just sitting there, and which Chad Michael Murray, he just stands up and goes and throws a beer bottle at the guy's headlights, breaking one of them. And he goes and steps in front of the group, thinking he's gonna fight the guy. Then the guy drives away. And then the next morning, Carly, which is Elisha Cuthbert, and Paris Hilton, whose character's name is Paige. They're walking in the woods. Carly falls down. falls downhill and falls in this pile of roadkill. All these dead carcasses of animals. I think that's where this bad smell was coming from. And then they find the rest of them come down and find her. Then another guy in a truck comes up, which it wasn't the same guy, but this guy he's throwing more dead carcasses out. And Carly's boyfriend Wade, Jared Padalecki, his fan belt in his car got snapped, so he has to get a new one. The guy offers to drive him into town, because there was a town nearby. And which is this town. It's a pretty secluded town, isolated. It's a small town that's pretty much almost in the middle of nowhere, basically. But it seems like it's a big town, but it's empty. And I like the location, how the way the town looks. And the Wade and Carly, they go into a church. They find that's a funeral, so they don't want to interrupt it. Then they go and visit the House of Wax, which one thing I really liked about the idea is that this whole building was made entirely out of wax. And Wade's like, it is wax, like literally. So they go inside. Everything they see inside is wax. Floor, the ceilings, the furniture, everything is made out of wax. And another funny thing that I thought was kind of funny, that Wade sees a dog, which he thought was wax, but when he got closer to it, it starts barking at him. So I thought that was also kind of a funny scene. So the dog was real, and it surprised him. So then they meet back with the guy named Bo, and they drive up to his house. Wade goes inside. I think he had to use the bathroom, I think, and he wanders into this room where it's pitch dark. The figure's name is Vincent, which of course is the name is nod to Vincent Price from the original House of Wax, so that was kind of a nice thing, calling the character Vincent as the nod to Vincent Price. He takes scissors and cuts the guy's foot, and then he knocks him out and takes him down to his workshop. And I thought that was kind of a creepy scene. So that's where what he does with Wade is that like removes all his facial hairs off and sits him in this chair. So he first ejected him with something like he probably couldn't move or something. Sits him in this chair, puts like this metal mask on his face, and then pours this hot wax on him, making him into a wax figure. I always thought that was kind of a creepy scene, and I like how like, where all these wax figurines is in town is because all these are real people that have been made into wax. And back in the truck, Carly finds out that's the same guy with a broken headlight that was staring at them the other night. She runs away from him, but then she eventually gets caught. Takes it to the gas station downstairs and straps into the chair, then starts literally gluing her mouth shut. And then this is when her brother Nick, Chad Michael Murray, and brings his friend along, Dalton, to go into town to search for them. While Nick finds Bo and talks to them, Carly tries to get his attention because he frees one of her hands and sticks her finger up through the grate, try to get his attention. And this is what I thought was a kind of a cringy scene, is where Bo just goes and takes a tool and just goes and cuts off the top of her finger off. I thought it was kind of a cringy scene. So there was a couple of creepy scenes that I kind of liked in this film, and which hardly ever see that I've done horror film remakes, because they're not trying to do anything to be creepy or scary. Well, this film was not scary though, but it gets a couple of good creepy scenes, like when Wade's being turned into wax, or Bo cuts top of Carly's finger off. But then she manages to force her mouth open because it's been glued shut, and she screams to get Nick's attention. Locks both doors and goes down to help her. Then to show Dalton entering the House of Wax, he finds Wade. But then he knows something's wrong with him. He puts a finger to his face and knows he's been turned to wax. He wants to help him, but he's peeling the the wax off his face, but which I thought was a well done makeup effect, because as he's peeling the wax off, but he's also peeling off his skin as well, because he's peeling off the skin. You see like the inside of his face, like it's all bloody and stuff, and the guy's even like shedding a tear because it's hurting him so much. I thought it was kind of a well done effect. And when Vincent tries to stab the guy or cut the guy, actually slashes off more of Wade's face off. You see more of his cheek and more of his teeth. And eventually that kills him. And then Dalton tries to get away, but he falls down the stairs, and Vincent comes down, takes his two knives like this, and just goes and cuts the guy's head off. And that's why and I also like the kills as well. That's another thing I liked about it. The kills I thought were pretty good. And that's why I think it was an underrated slasher film, because I don't think this film doesn't deserve to get much more shit on it, basically. I don't understand why, but... So he cuts the guy's head off. Carly tells Nick that, no, wait, we have to find a way. What if he's been turned to wax? What do you mean, wax? Don't you get it? They're all wax. Everybody. And even first there was a woman. She saw a woman that was like opening a curtain though, but she found that's also a wax figurine. And Nick's saying, "Are you seeing that's a real person underneath?" And they're trying to come up with a plan. He's like, Carl's like, "They're out there. You gotta be careful." And Nick's like, "I am being careful." So he breaks a window and grabs a crossbow. And Bo shows up with a shotgun and starts shooting at them. They enter this movie theater, which plays a black and white movie. I think it was called Whatever Happened to BBJ. I think it was called. Which I like the scene because in the theater it's full of wax figurines, which really enough is full of, which they used to be people, but they're dead now. So they're seeing a theater full of dead people because there are wax figurines. Carly sits in one of them and trying to act like one of them. Bo notices her, shoots, and he misses, but it blows off one of the dead wax figurines' head off. Like it shows, like the inside of the person's head. I like that. I mean, he shoots it again, misses, and blows up another wax figurine head off. And then Nick shoots him with a crossbow, one in the arm, one in the chest. Then they go up to his house, and Carly finds a picture of him and Vincent. They were twins. Well, they were conjoined twins because Vincent's head was like at birth. He was like stuck to his brother's head, and that's why he has like he has a wax face to cover up his disfigurement face, which is like a piece of his face missing. Bo and Vincent go in the house and because what happened next was with Paris Hilton, her boyfriend. Vincent kills her boyfriend with the knife to the neck, and she runs away, runs to this factory with all these cars and the bucketfuls of cell phones, knowing that these brothers have been pulling people off the highways up for years, killing all these people, making them wax figurines. And she gets killed. Like Vincent throws like a spiky, like a pipe with a pointy edge pipe, I would say, right through her head, killing her. That was a good looking effect of her getting killed. And also another thing, Vincent has Dalton's camera, because earlier he mentioned that his camera was missing. But it was Vincent who took the camera. He takes his camera, and starts filming Paris Hilton's dead body with the pipe through her head. Carly and Nick, they go downstairs, they find switches, to turn on some lights, and the switches that controls like the lights are all in town and stuff. Then they go into Vincent's workshop. They find Dalton sitting in that chair encased in wax. Nick wanted to help him get out of there, but he starts moving his head because he got his head cut off, and he starts moving his head snaps off. And Carly gets upset, and so does Nick. They feel sorry for what happened to his friend, and that's what I mean, because even he got in trouble before we did, though. But seems overall a pretty good guy who did some minor trouble, though. But how he shows that he cares and about his sister and about his friends that died. Then Vincent shows up. Nick pours down the hot wax, and this is what starts setting the whole place on fire. And which is I thought was a pretty good looking effect, because this whole building is made out of wax, which I liked. And since it's on fire, the whole building starts melting. Everything starts melting, which I thought was a pretty good looking effect. It shows that as they're running, they see the two high chairs. One's Vincent's, one's Bo. Bo was the one wearing with the high chair with the restraints, because earlier at the beginning of the film it shows a flashback of the brothers. One is struggling, who was a monster, but the father says restraining him down. That was Bo as a kid. He was the one who was the monster, not Vincent. Then Nick gets into a fist fight with Bo. Takes a knife and stabs him in the leg. Carly goes and beats the guy's head in with a baseball bat, killing him. Vincent goes after Carly because he killed his brother, and as the whole place starts melting, which I thought was pretty good looking. A little bit mix of practical and some CG, and of course once they all get out, the whole building is CG when it's melted though. But I thought it was a pretty good looking effect though, even though it was CG. But during that, before that though, Carly tries to talk with Vincent, doesn't do any good. Nick fights Vincent on the bed and removes his face, his wax face, and shows his disformity. And Nick's like, "Oh shit!" Tries to stab into him, but Carly takes a knife out of Nick's leg and stabs into him. So it pushes him. He falls to the floor all the way down on top of his brother's body. Looking like the picture, they were conjoined together. And which I liked it with the good-looking effect. How the whole place starts melting. Everything is melting, and since the building is melting, they can dig through the wall because it's made out of wax. So that's how they able to get out. And the good-looking effect outside shot. Even though that part was CG, I think it's a pretty good-looking CG. Not the best, but decent looking CG shot of the outside of the whole building just melting down. So because of the fire, because the authorities are able to find this town, because the town's no longer on a map anymore. It's been abandoned for years. Because the whole thing, why the brothers were doing this, because their mother, who was a famous wax sculptor, and they wanted to do this in honor of her. So they've been pulling people out of the highway for years, turning them to wax figures. I like the idea. There were a couple of ideas that I liked in the film, but you hardly see nowadays done remakes and stuff. Including a couple of creepy scenes. And as they're being taken away in an ambulance, Nick goes to steal his friend's camera, which was for evidence though, but he goes and takes it anyway. He's like, "I got some good memories on this. You took it? Just kind of felt wrong leaving it behind. Are you okay? We're both gonna be okay." So she shows that they cares about his sister, and overall he shows he's a good guy, And then the sheriff gets a call on his radio, said that the parents of the two brothers, they didn't have two sons, they had three sons instead. And as they're being driven away in an ambulance, it shows the guy who helped him get into town before, the guy who was throwing all the dead carcasses. Of course, you get the idea that guy was the third brother, as he's waving goodbye to them. And of course he's with them. The dog's with them. That dog was with them. Shows them he's waving goodbye at them. Of course, like I said before, he said, get the idea that he was the third brother. And then you get that nice piece of score by John Ottman that I liked. It was before the film ends, before the credits roll, it shows the wide shot of the town as the score is going dun 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 dun. Doing a terrible job though, but that piece of the score, I think the score was pretty good though, especially at the ending. That piece of the score. I enjoy this film. House of Wax. I think it's this is a remake that I enjoy, and I think it's also, above all, it's an underrated remake. I would say not many people talk about, but I enjoy House of Wax. The film is on for about How long is this? Later. 113 minutes. And it went at a pretty good pace. I didn't get bored with it. For features is a video cast commentary from location Joel Silver, who was also producer on the film, along with Robert Zemeckis. Reveals House of Wax, Wax On, the design of House of Wax, the house built on wax, the visual effects of House of Wax, alternate opening, trailer. So, the back here is by this person from Village Voice. Discomforting, gradius, even by slasher standards. Or it says here on the front, hot, sexy, deliciously creepy horror. But I enjoy House of Wax. I like the premise of the film. The cast, especially the cast, did a pretty good job. Especially the two leads, Elisha, Cuthbert, Chad Michael Murray. The rest of the supporting cast, they were good as well. The deaths, the kills that I liked, Dalton's getting his head cut off, and especially the good-looking makeup effect of Wade getting his face peeled off. The effects and that's another thing. I like the effects in the film. The score that I liked by John Ottman, I liked. The directing by Jaume Collet-Serra. But overall, I enjoy the remake of House of Wax. I think it's a pretty good remake. 25% Rotten Tomatoes, 5.39 on IMDb. I would disagree with that. I think especially for the more of the shitty remakes like Evil Dead and Rob Zombie's Halloween Nightmare on Elm Street or Prom Night. I think this film is much better than those ones. But I enjoy House of Wax. If anyone hasn't seen House of Wax, feel free to give it a look. It was an exact copy of the original House of Wax, or both of those original films, the 30s or the 50s film. It was an exact copy, so it's a film that did its own thing, which I appreciated. But yeah. All those positive reviews I said about the film, I enjoy the film. If anyone has seen it, feel free to give it a look, and if you don't like it, it's your opinion. But anyway, that's my review for House of Wax, 2005. Can't believe it's been 10 years since this came out. I remember seeing it back. In the day in theater with me and my brother, and this is another film also that my brother enjoyed, so we can agree on that. So yeah, I remember me and my brother seeing this back in the theater back in the day in 2005. So at least we both can agree we both enjoy this film. But anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.